So, for those who don't really know much about the Aliens lore and whatnot, what's the story about the game? And yeah, just fill them in.
All right, so Aliens is perhaps one of the most influential franchises that's ever happened in sci-fi or in horror. And so the first movie came out a long time ago, right? When sci-fi was really clean and really kind of it was a different world, right? And then Alien came out, and like this used world, this used space, really gritty, really dirty, and really scary, because Richard Giger came around and made this amazing alien design that is a little phallic, a little kind of but it was really cool, and a lot of people really caught on to that, and it had like some kind of mystery and something very different that was new at that time, right? And then back in '86, there was a sequel made by James Cameron called Aliens, right? And this was fucking phenomenal. It was amazing, right? And so I was pretty young at the time. I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to see it, but you do, and when you're a kid, you see stuff like that. It leaves a mark, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's I used to draw like little ends in my sketchbook, and I just growing up is this part of my and then games, because you see all these video games that come out with either Space Marines, or they have the lines from the movie, or they have actually like just the alien design is just copied lots of way, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to name any movies, but there's a lot there that does that. And so being able to actually step in there and have the opportunity to work on the real franchise, to actually be part of the canon, is a dream come true. And that's like, it's also a huge responsibility, right? Because work with 20th Century Fox, we have to make sure that we're doing like the right thing, that we're always on like consistent and also true to the franchise and to the fiction. And so with Aliens Colonial Marines being canonical and actually a sequel to the Aliens franchise, that's a huge deal for us. And it's a huge deal if you think about it, like just for the games industry in a sense, because for a movie, their sequel being a video game, that's pretty cool, especially something that made that much of an impact in everyone's life that long ago.
Definitely. I noticed there's the balance between action and horror and stuff. Was that difficult at any chance?
It's interesting. It's actually not that hard. It kind of like in lots of ways writes itself and kind of presents itself, because aliens are scary things. They hide in the dark. They lurk around, and if you're not prepared, if you don't know what to do in any situation, they'll tear your face off really fast. I mean, like, how many films did we see? Like, how many people survived in all the films that we saw the aliens in? Like,
yeah, not many.
No one.
Yeah.
The cat, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much everyone dies. And so they're kind of just like, if we're doing the true alien design, the true alien feel, they're going to be lethal. They're going to be really scary, and they're going to be really making you fearful about where you're going, right? And so that element's really, really big. But as a Colonial Marine, you're also part of the biggest badass thing in the universe. You have all the arsenal, you have all the weapons, you have the smart gun, the pulse rifle, you have everything you can even think of, including some weapons that you'll see that are, you're a badass. But the thing is, when you go in these environments and it's dark, there's shadows playing on the walls, there's lights are going out, and you can't see what's going on. You hear the things in the background. You don't know if that's an alien skittering across the ground, like the ceiling, or if it's something else. And so when you get in those situations, even if you have the best guns in the world, if you're not playing smart, if you're not careful, if you're not sticking with your squad, you're going to get your ass kicked.
All right, so you're emphasizing a bit more on squad gameplay then?
Well, in the narrative, there's a number of people that you meet up along the way that you fight alongside with, right? And so these guys are a really big part of your experience, and they also help you out. So if something happens to them, the game gets exponentially harder. And so you don't want anything to happen to your squad, and if something does happen, you feel it, because it is meaningful for the player to lose something that important to your game. But the thing is, when you're with them, you're a badass. You're tearing down Xenos left and right. They're coming like nothing stands a chance, except if something happens to them, or if you walk into some place you're not prepared for.
Yeah. So would there be a slight chance that you've reached the end of the game and you're just all alone?
You never know.
That would be pretty boss. I really love playing as a Marine. As you said, they are badasses. And the second you pull out that motion tractor and beep, beep, and it just gets faster and higher pitched. Heart starts pumping and adrenaline's going up. It's like, yeah. So how many hours do you think we got for a single player campaign?
We're still working on it, so it's still to be determined. So yeah, it's not necessarily a short game for sure.
It's not short. Nice. I like that. Multiplayer. Looking at the Alien, a lot different view from Aliens vs. Predator. That was really great. How's the balancing act going for multiplayer between Aliens and the Marines?
It's actually going really well. The aliens themselves are really lethal, and when you start playing the game, especially in like team deathmatch or any of the directed-based modes, you really get a sense that you need to stick together and really work either as a Xeno or as a Marine with your squad or your pack of Xenos or whatever. And so the balance of that has a lot to do with how well you work with each other. And so if you're really doing a great job, sticking around using your motion tracker to track where the Xenos are going to be at, you have a standing chance, right? But if you're not, then you're going to get torn apart. And that's the thing. Like, it's so much emphasis on making sure that you're actually playing like a Marine or playing like a Xeno that if you're not going to last long, right? So it's actually a really challenging, really fun thing. And it also has a lot of depth that you don't really see in some of the previous games that have come out with this material.
Nice. Let me think for a minute here. What was the hardest part about making the game?
So the hardest part of making Aliens was actually more or less the fact that this franchise has been around for so long. Because depending on what year you were born, Aliens were different for you, right? So if you're around to see the first Alien, that's how you remember Aliens being, right? Really big, guy in a rubber suit, but also very menacingly, and he's scary, hiding all over the place. You never know. It's like a true horror monster in the house kind of feel for it, right? And then when you see Aliens, you see swarms of Xenos coming at you every which way, tearing apart Marines, and it's a totally different kind of experience. Then you saw Alien 3, and that was a different type of Xeno and a different type of experience again. And you saw Resurrection, which is completely different as well, right? So every film has had a different interpretation, including the AVP films. They're all different for different generations. And so, working on a game like this, there's a lot of people that, a lot of feelings about one way or the other, like Xenos should be this way, Xenos should be that way. And it's kind of hard to reconcile that. That's perhaps the hardest thing. But for us, we're really focused on making the aliens from aliens. And the other xenotypes that you see in the game are derived from maybe the other xenotypes that you see in the films. But that's kind of the core of it is, people's expectations for the Xenos over this franchise for this long is a real challenge. But we're working really hard to make sure that everyone gets a good feeling, a good sense of what aliens are and how lethal they really are to fight against in a first-person shooter.
Yeah. We got 1 minute? All right. One more. Okay. So, what was the funnest part about making the game then?
Oh, hell. Everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's actually been such a treat. It's so fun to work on this franchise. Like what I was saying is, when you grow up with this stuff, it makes an impact on you. It influences so much of what you do. And being able to actually work with some of the people who worked on the original film, to be able to talk to them, to be able to actually look back on like all the studio films and the reference that no one got to see. I mean, it's kind of like a fanboy dream. It's like no one gets to see this stuff, and here we are. It's just I'm some poor chum, just like and then all of a sudden your life changes and you get to actually do something like this. And so like everyone on the team is so excited about being part of this, and it's just fun to go into work every day because sometimes when people find new things in the archives or they someone points out this thing, or we get like a fan letter that comes in that says, oh, here, did you guys notice this one piece? And we're like, oh wow, you're right, that's crazy. And so you learn stuff all the time, and this universe is vast. It's a very it's been around for so long, and so many brilliant people have influenced this, and being able to be part of that is just, it's excitement for the entire team.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I think that should do it.